Imagine stepping into a world where every mistake costs you a piece of your mind. In a small village on the Nile's edge lived a man named Eiyad. Eiyad was quiet, thoughtful, had a strong body yet burdened by poverty, and he was 28 years old. He loved a girl from the same village, and for years he dreamed of marrying her. But in this village, a man could not marry unless he paid a heavy dowry. Eiyad worked hard, but the coins he saved were never enough. When he finally proposed, her father refused him. He was too poor. That night, Eiyad's heart ached with anger and helplessness. He walked aimlessly until he reached the old graves on the outskirts of the village. There he met an old wanderer sitting by a crumbling tombstone. The old man spoke in whispers of a hidden passage beneath the earth. A tunnel, the stranger said, that leads to a land beyond our own. A land with no money, no gold, no dowry to shackle a man's heart. Eiyad thought the tale absurd, but something about the man's hollow eyes felt real. The weight of rejection pushed him to seek that passage. Days later, he stood at the mouth of a dark cave carrying a lantern and a small bag. Each step echoed through the tunnel, the air growing colder and heavier. The deeper he went, the less he could hear the world above. Shadows moved along the walls as if they were alive. Then, with a deep rumble, the stone behind him slid shut, trapping him inside. Before him loomed an enormous gate of black rock carved with strange runes. With trembling hands, Eiyad pushed the gate open. A blinding light spilled out, revealing a vast valley. A city stretched before him, towering walls, narrow bridges, and a river glowing blue under the moonlight. The air smelled unfamiliar, sweet and metallic. Eiyad had crossed into another world, the fabled land of Zykola. At first glance, it looked like paradise. Busy streets, merchants, music in the distance. But something in the people's eyes unsettled him. They looked sharp, calculating, almost predatory. A guard stopped him at the gates and asked for his units. Eiyad frowned. Units of what? The guard smirked. Units of intelligence. The only currency that matters here. Confused and frightened, Eiyad wandered into the city. He saw a man pay for a loaf of bread, and as he did, his gaze dulled, his speech slowed. A mother scolded her son, and the boy winced as if a spark of wit had left his eyes. Eiyad realized in horror, here you pay for everything with your own mind. The rich seemed brighter, their words quick and clever. The poor looked empty, almost hollow. He learned that when your intelligence reaches zero, your mind is gone forever. Those who lost it were dragged away, their bodies alive, but their thoughts erased. That night, Eiyad slept under a stone archway, clutching his bag tightly. In his dreams, he saw his village, but when he awoke, the distant drums of Zykola reminded him where he was. His nightmare had just begun. In the morning, he met a young woman named Eiyad. She noticed his lost expression and whispered, "You're new here. Be careful." Eiyad explained the cruel balance of Zykola. Every mistake, every indulgence drained a part of the mind. Eiyad felt as though the walls were closing in. He asked about a way to return home. Eiyad shook her head. No one leaves Zykola. The city feeds on those who enter. Determined to survive, Eiyad sought work to earn units. He carried crates for merchants by the docks under the blazing sun. But fatigue made him clumsy. Each mistake cost him more than he earned. He felt his thoughts slowing. The city was eating him alive. Days passed. Eiyad witnessed a man dragged away, eyes vacant, mouth trembling with nonsense. A bystander whispered, "He spent it all. Now he's just an empty shell." Eiyad's fear grew. He realized he was sinking deeper into danger. That night, while sitting by the river, he saw the grand square filled with torches. A tall figure in black robes announced the coming of the day of reckoning. On that day, the figure declared, "The least intelligent among us shall be sacrificed." For the prosperity of Zykola, a hush fell over the crowd. Even the river seemed to hold its breath. Eiyad's stomach turned. He had almost no units left. Eiyad found him later and whispered, "You must escape, or you'll be next." As the drums echoed across the city, Khalid knew his time was running out. Closing lines. The festival of death was approaching fast. Khalid stood on a bridge overlooking the glowing river, clutching his lantern. "I have to find a way out," he muttered to himself. The shadows of Zykola whispered back, as if the city itself was listening.